born. And I tell you what, I grew up in church. Let me see this section. Let's see. Actually, this not even this whole side here, but this little section right here. Y'all raise your hand. Everybody on this side, raise your hand up here. This is the church I grew up in. That's like Christmas and Easter packed out right there. That's how little it was. And I grew up in this little church in this little town in Alabama. I lived in this little town. It's called Clanton, Alabama. So at the time when I lived there, was a population of 7,000 people. There wasn't a McDonald's. Russia got a McDonald's before Clanton, Alabama. As a kid, that's tough, y'all. That's tough when you ain't got a McDonald's when you're a kid. And you've seen all these commercials for Happy Meals, and you're like, man. I remember seeing on the NBC national news that Moscow was getting a McDonald's. I'm like, come on, man, that's... And then, of course, I moved in 1988. I was a sophomore in high school. I moved, they got everything. They got a Whataburger in Clanton now. They don't have an In-N-Out. It ain't made its way that way yet. But I grew up in this little church singing hymns and learning a lot about music, singing in that little bit of church. It was a lot different then than it is now. It wasn't like this fancy, most churches, like Seth and I lead worship at a church in Atlanta together. And it's not really, we have modern music, but it's not like a lot of churches now. Like you got tonight we had a church, they got the lights, it's like you're at a rock show, and they got the fog machine, and you got I don't know about the worship leader here, don't get me wrong, but a lot of churches, they got like the worship leader with his cool haircut and his skinny jeans, and it wasn't like that back in the day when I was a kid. It was like old Edna on the piano and a bunch of gray hairs in the choir. That's the music. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. But I got saved when I was real young, but I kind of remained a baby Christian for a long time. And then finally, when I was a senior in high school in 1991, I was lost. I needed some direction. Somebody from church had said, you should read the book of Romans. I didn't even know where Romans was in the Bible. I didn't know it was New Testament, Old Testament. I had no idea. So I look in the index and sit on the edge of my bed one day, about a month before I graduated, scared, needing some direction. I turned to the book of Romans, I started reading, and y'all, I don't know what it was, well, I know what it was. At the time I did. I started reading the book of Romans, and I was reminded of that promise that I made as a kid. And even though I wasn't faithful in keeping my promise to the Lord, He was faithful in keeping His promise. And He reminded me of that when I started reading that book of Romans. And Jesus got a hold of me, y'all. And He's never thankful, He's never let go, and He never will. And this song is a little bit of a testimony song about that. And I want you to sing along. I want you tonight to pretend like you're at a Bon Jovi concert, all right? Because we got this tonight, I like this 80s kind of background thing. I can't hear it, it's too high for me. So Seth's gonna have to teach y'all the part. It goes like this. 1, 2, ready, sing. Oh. Everybody do that? 1, 2, ready, sing. Oh. Are you ready, Arizona? 1, 2, ready, sing. And here we go. I was born on Christmas Day in '72. And from that day on, I did whatever I wanted to. Running from God, breaking mama's heart, dying each day, living too hard. It's a miracle that I ever made it through. By April 21st, 1991, put those hands together now. I was born outside from all the miles that I had gone. I saw a little church and walked right in. Same old truth, no fair new then. On April 21st, 1991. Amazing grace, my eyes could see. I was born again at the age of 18 on a Sunday morning. Jesus got a hold of me. days turn into years. There's been ups and downs, but one thing's always clear. The mercy comes with the morning sun, like it did when I was young, on April 21st, 1991. It my eyes could see I was born again at the age of 18. On a Sunday morning, Jesus got a hold of me. Oh yeah, hallelujah, 'cause the past is gone. Hallelujah, I found your love, nothing was the same. Everything changed on April 21st, 1991. April 21st, 1991. Oh, help me out now, come on. The amazing grace my eyes could see. I was born again at the age of 18. On a Sunday morning, Jesus got a hold of me. Oh yeah, hallelujah, 'cause the past is gone. Hallelujah, I found your love, nothing was the same. Everything changed on April 21st, 1991. All right.